Okay.
Respected
Start.
sir and my fellow mates, a very warm afternoon to one and all present here. Myself Ramji, along with my teammates Anamika and Shakir, are going to present our ENVS presentation. Hope everyone will enjoy it. The topic of our presentation is forest fire. Here are the contents which me and my teammates are going to cover throughout the presentation, starting with a brief introduction followed by causes, types and effects. Then we will discover the deadliest wildfires in history, recent major forest fires, and a dynamic fire map provided by NASA. Moving forward, we will be learning about prevention, control, and organization, which are helping to overcome the forest fire. Then we will be seeing some real-time fire mapping, followed by conclusion and references. Let's get started with what basically is a forest fire. Forest fire is defined as a fire caused in forest by natural effects or some irresponsible man-made activities. Depending on the type of vegetation present, a wildfire can be classified into forest fire, bush fire, desert fire, grass fire, etc. Forest fire is one of the major issues faced by the whole world. It not only helps in pollution but also influences the wildlife habitat. Forest fire can be caused by two ways, natural and man-made. The natural causes include lightning, which set the trees on fire. High atmospheric temperature and dryness offers favorable circumstances for a fire to start. The man-made causes include leaving out a lit bonfire while camping, cigarette or biri, electric spark or any other source which comes in contact with inflammable materials. Now we will be learning about the different types of forest fire, which include number one, surface fire, number two, underground fire, followed by ground fire, crown fire, and firestorms. What basically is a surface fire? A forest fire may burn primarily as a surface fire, spreading along the ground as the surface litter on the forest floor and is engulfed by the spreading flames. Most of the forest fire starts with a surface fire. Secondly is underground fire. The fires of low intensity consuming the organic matter beneath and the surface litter of forest floor are subgrouped as underground fire, also known as muck fire. Third one is ground fire. These fires are fires in the subsurface organic fluids. There is no clear distinction between underground and ground fires. The smoldering underground fire sometimes changes into ground fire. This fire burns root and other materials on or beneath the surface. They are more damaging than surface fire. Fourth one is crown fire. A crown fire is one in which the crown of the tree and shrubs burn, often sustained by a surface fire. Fifth one and the most deadliest one is firestorm. Among the forest fire, the fire spreading most rapidly is the firestorm, which is an intense fire over a large area. As the fire burns, heat rises and air rushes in, causing the fire to grow. More air makes the fire spin violently like a storm, causing very adverse effects. Now, we will be learning about the effects what forest fire has. Fires are a major causes of forest degradations and have wide-ranging adverse ecological, economic, and social impacts, including loss of valuable timber resources, degradation of catchment areas, loss of biodiversity, and extinctions of plants and animals, loss of wildlife habitat and depletions of wildlife, loss of natural regeneration and reduction in forest covers, global warming, loss of carbon sink resources and increase in percentage of CO2 in atmosphere, change in microclimate of the area with unhealthy living condition, soil erosion affecting productivity of soil and production, ozone followed by ozone layer depletion. Now, these are the 10 deadliest wildfires in history till January 2020. The first one is Festivo Fire, which occurred in 1871, followed by Great Michigan Fire, which too occurred in 1871. Third one is Clockwork Fire, which occurred in 1918. Fourth one is Great Hinckley Fire, which occurred in 1894. Fifth one is Great Chicago Fire, which occurred in 1871. Sixth one is Thumb Fire, which occurred in 1881. Seventh one is Indonesian Forest Fire, which started in 1997 and carried on till 1998. Eighth one is Black Dragon Fire, which occurred in 1987. Ninth one is Black Saturday Bush Fire, which occurred in 2009. And the last one is Attica Wildfire, which occurred in 2018. Now, my teammate Anamika will carry on with the rest of the slides.
Thank you, Ramji. Now, I would like to take the presentation ahead and we would like to discuss further about the recent major forest fires in India and as well as over the world. Going forward, we need to trace it backwards. In India, the first one would be the 2019 Bandipur forest fire. In the Feb of 2019, a massive forest fire broke out in numerous places across the Bandipur National Park of Karnataka state in India. It burned approximately 10,000 acres of land and it was very destructive. As we can see, the picture in the background is the actual photograph of the incident. The next one would be the Uttarakhand forest fires of 2016 and 2020. Both took place in the month of May, that was summer, and it happened due to a series of widespread wildfires. The third one would be the Simplipal forest fires of 2021. It's one of the most recent ones, and it occurred in the state of Odisha in the month of March and April in 2021. The fires have affected the ecology of Simplipal Biosphere Reserve and caused widespread damage to the local environment as well as property and livelihoods. Now, we would like to discuss the fires around the whole world, and the first one would be the Amazon rainforest fire of 2019. As we know, the Amazon rainforests are the world's largest rainforests, and it was a very trending topic in 2019. An unprecedented number of fires raged throughout Brazil in 2019 in the month of August. It was pretty evident that the rise in fire activities is associated with the sharp rise in deforestation. The second one would be the campfire. The campfire was the deadliest and the most destructive wildfire in California's history and the most expensive natural disaster in the world in 2018 in terms of insured losses. Next, we would like to move ahead with the Black Saturday bushfires of 2009. And the bushfires were a series of bushfires that ignited or were already burning across the Australian state of Victoria on and around Saturday. It was a Saturday, that's why it's known as the Black Saturday. The next one would be the Australian bushfire that occurred in 2019 and 2020, and it was colloquially known as the Black Summer. As we remember, it was a period of unusually intense bushfires in many parts of Australia, and it caused heavy damage to the wildfire and to the wildlife of the Australian state of Victoria. Now we would like to move forward with a dynamic fire map that we got from NASA's website. Basically, this map shows the exact place which were affected by forest fires in the past 2 decades. The map depicts the exact locations of the actively burning fires across the world on a monthly basis. These colors that we see, orange and golden, these are the number of forest fires that were observed during that month of that period. We can see that a certain part of the world was always burning. Next, we would like to discuss about the most important thing that is to be discussed is how to prevent forest fires. Firstly, the prevention of wildfires hazard from vehicles. How do we prevent it from vehicles? By undertaking technical checkups regularly of our own private vehicles that we drive, by having proper functioning spark arresters, by never parking near dry grass, especially close to forests, by storing a reservoir of water or sand. The second one would be the prevention of wildfires due to agricultural activities. How do farmers prevent it? By preventing slash and burn, by preventing the technique of debris burning, and by using flammable liquids. The third one would be wildfire prevention with EOS forest monitoring. It would be by weather analytics, by monitoring thermal anomalies, and by monitoring water stress and temperature rises. The fourth one and the most important one would be how can we as citizens prevent forest fires by firstly it would be by not leaving smoldering campfires while we go out for camping. The second one would be by following forest fire prevention tactics by while burning rubbish, and by taking wildfire prevention measures with fireworks when we burn fireworks. by not throwing away lit cigarettes, and by preventing forest fires that can ignite from tools and vehicles that we use while camping. Now, I would like to hand over to Shakir for the rest of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Anamika, for handing over to me. So let's move ahead to the topic forest fire control in India. Keeping that in the mind, a national master plan for forest fire control has been established, which aims to firstly prevent fires by educating the people about the same and increasing people participation in joint forest fire management, and secondly the early detection and warning system through a well coordinated system of observation points, efficient ground patrolling, and communication network. Now we have to take certain measures for the forest to control the forest fire. The firstly, increased emphasis on training, research, and education. The secondly, the need of the hour is to regularly keep track of the state of the forest through images taken from satellites, increased ground staff, and establishing a relation between the officials and the tribal people for increased cooperation to avoid such incident in the forest future. And the last one is a good plan, but most of it was executed only on paper. Now, I would like to discuss about the organization that helped during the forest fire. The first one is the Forest Service. It has been managing wildland fire on national forest and grasslands for more than 100 years. The second one is the American Red Cross. It responds to disasters 365 days a year and can help assist impacted individuals with their immediate emergency needs. And the third one is the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. It offers temporary sheltering assistance and funding to qualified animal welfare organizations and government agencies. The fourth one is Feeding America. It is the largest domestic hunger relief organization which delivers food to communities impacted by tornadoes, storms, hurricanes, flooding, and wildfire. And the fifth one is the Salvation Army. It may provide temporary assistance for families in need, including vouchers for rent, emergency aid, and legal aid. And the last one is United Methodist Committee on Relief. It is a non-profit organization which provides humanitarian relief and disaster response to communities in the US and worldwide that have been affected by a crisis or in chronic need. So till now we have came across about the control of forest fire and the organization that helped during the forest fire. But just think what if we could detect it earlier? Seems interesting, right? But we have some tool to track the real-time forest fire around the world. But certain questions which comes under our mind is which active fire maps can we track wildfire in real time? The second one is which wildfire web services, shape files, and KML are available. And the last one is how can we see the satellite imagery for ourselves? Yes, it's possible. There are certain devices such as the first one is Google Earth Pro. It is a handy tool that helps us to see the planet, and the best part is that it's never a cloudy day. Even though the imagery is usually less than a year old, chances are that we won't see a forest fire in the application. Not only is Google Earth Pro good for active forest fire, but also for measuring the footprint of the burn area. It's easy to get confused with clouds for Landsat images, so we can verify the fire with the thermal infrared and the KMZ. Now the second one is the NASA's worldview and firms. Not only is NASA's worldview and active fire maps, but it's also a live imagery map. So this means that we can see forest fires and imagery as they are collected in near real time. And the second was NASA's Fire Information for Resources Management System, which is known as FIRMS. It is a richer interactive fire map. In this web map, we can visualize daily global fire locations within 3 hours of satellite overpass from both MODIS and VRS satellites. Now the third one is the Copernicus Emergency Management Services. It targets users in Europe similar to the other active fire maps. The European Forest Fire Information System uses Moody's and VIRS to track thermal anomalies. As part of their current situation viewer, it assesses the burned area of the forest fire with a polygon extent. Also, it provides an analysis of seasonal trends and the number of fires by European Union countries. For fire prevention managers, this platform forecasts fire danger level based on meteorological predictions. Now, we have some tools to detect the forest fire in real time, such as the Moody's and VIRS. Moody's on board Terra and Aqua satellites. Moody's has a pixel resolution of 1 kilometer as it detects active fire maps by depends on the severity and extent of the fire. Now the second one is VIRSS. It is on board the NASA, which detects active fire maps based on thermal anomalies because of its finer spatial resolution, which is 375 meters. It can detect smaller fires on the ground with a bit more accuracy. Now, we have, I want to conclude this session by saying that forest and the products they provide are universally required for the continuation human society as we know it. To change our society to one that does not depend on the forest and its associated benefits requires such an enormous paradigm shift that we generally do not even consider it worthy of further investigation. Given the situation, therefore, it is imperative that we discover mechanism to manage the forest for all the benefits it can provide in a sustainable manner. Now, there are certain references which we have taken help while making these presentations are there are certain websites such as Forest Fire Activities, Wikaspedia, Earth Observatory, and even from the GIS Geography. Now, thank you, sir, for giving us such a great learning opportunity and helping us to enlighten the minds of our fellow classmates as well. Thank you.